KILR Killer Game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome back to the World Tour featuring Microsoft Flight Simulator 2 for the Tandy 1000. Little change of pace here, going from the IBM PC to the Tandy 1000, because this is the only way at the moment that we can use Scenery Disk 9 in the area that we're flying. For more details, check out the previous video of this tour. I go into an explanation of, and I show some visuals as far as why we weren't able to do the PC version in this particular area. But we will get back to the PC version, so that way we've got some color other than teal and red and some grays. But anyway, keeping an eye on my stream over there, making sure everything's good to go. Let's go ahead and talk about where we are going to fly. Okay, so, and you may notice that I had said streaming earlier. So as I'm recording these episodes, I'm streaming them on Twitch, giving people like yourself a chance to join me on the actual flight while I do it live, and you get to chat with me and interact and all that fun stuff. Okay, so we are here at Dane County Regional Trial Field, which is in Madison, Wisconsin. We're going to be going here to Oshkosh, Wittman Field. Now, we're not flying directly there. We're going to be flying over here where the Wisconsin River is at and the Wisconsin Lake. And we're going to be flying up here. And then we'll be going over the Wittman Field. Now, you may be saying, why? Well, why not? I mean, we got some scenery in this area, and it'd be kind of neat to kind of see this before heading over here to, I think this is Lake Oshkosh. I will look it up on a map just to be sure. And of course, I will show that. Not at the moment, but like during the flight. Because we'll have plenty of time. All right, so fuel looks good. I'm going to go ahead and move the map to the side so that way I can see what's going on here. That's not what I wanted to do. Trying to make it a decent size here. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is set the Madison VOR to a vector of 3, 4. That should do it. Well, it's going to be kind of, I mean, that's to start off with. It's going to be a little bit of a VFR flight, so. So 108.6 is nav 1. And we're going to go ahead and change that to a 3-4. And I don't know what I'm doing there. V for the VOR, VOR heading. So we'll change that to 3-4 right there. Yay, that's good. Okay, and then we're going to tune in to the Oshkosh. Oh, that's going to be difficult there to try to figure that one out. Because the Oshkosh VOR is centered right on the airport, so I don't quite want to do it that way. I forgot what I did on the other simulators. No, I don't think I turned in the Badger. No, I just think I just went at a... maybe I went at a heading of 1-0 or something. Okay, Oshkosh does have an ATIS, and I believe they have an ILS too, if I remember correctly. So 111.8. We'll set that for nav2. Hey, look, it's already on 11.8. And VOR2, V2 is the keyboard control. And we'll set that to 000. We're going to be landing on runway 36. And we are all set to go. Let's go ahead and get this started. M for magnetos. You can go M2 for left. Take a look at this over here underneath the fuel gauge. You'll see the lights, the magnetos, and the landing gear. M3 for right, M4 for both, and M5 for start. And you can go directly to M5 if you want to. Or you can kind of role play and act like you're turning the key. Throttle controls on this, we're using an emulated Tandy 1200 keyboard. So the throttle controls are just like Flight Simulator 1. So we're going to be using F4. F2 gives you full throttle. We don't quite want to do that right here. So, hey, we got Look Mime Dead. I think I'm saying that right. Hello from France. Remember, 80 feet, I think. Yeah, so we are, thanks for joining, by the way. We are getting ready to take off. We're going from Madison, Wisconsin to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And we're going to be doing a little bit of IFR flying. So you joined at the right time. We're going to go ahead and just take off from runway 36. Get turned here. Now you're going to see some graphics that are a little wacky here. That's not a mountain, and that black is not a mountain. That's just the city textures just going up into the sky. The reason for that is the Tandy emulation is a little rough. But this was the only way that we were able to use Scenery Disk 9 in this particular area, because I'm able to use the teledisc version. So the actual disc is, like, everything is there. All the tracks are there. Now, unfortunately, the disk image, like the actual image, like .img or, ISO, or whatever you want to call it, for the PC, 9 and 11, maybe 7, had special copy protection on them. So they had to bypass those tracks in order to make an image, and on those tracks was scenery. So there's quite a bit of scenery missing. And that just happens to be this particular area. And Chicago O'Hare, believe it or not. And I was not able to get that to... Well, yeah, obviously, we can't get it to work on the PC. And over on YouTube, I have a World Tour series where all the simulators follow the same flight. I'll talk about that here in a minute after we after we have a spaz of a takeoff here. This just looks pretty wicked. All right, full power. It'll be a little better once we take off. There we go. We are airborne. And we're turning. Didn't want to turn. Okay, G for landing gear. That is now up, which is something we forgot to do on the last flight. Should be pretty evident because up is in red. You think that, well, okay, no, there's no green on here. we're stuck with this color. So we can take a look out the rear. We have to hit scroll lock and then 2 on the numerical keypad, and we can look behind us. So very similar to the keyboard controls of the other simulators. Instead of just hitting shift and those keys, you have to hit the scroll lock. You don't hold the scroll lock, you just hit scroll lock and then one of the numbers. And you're good. Now, this road here, this highway, I think I discovered that this was like Interstate 90 or something. But that's going to lead us over to Wisconsin River and Wisconsin Lake. Or Lake Wisconsin, I should say. And then we'll be heading to a couple of other lakes, and I will show that on a real map in just a little bit. We'll go ahead and power down here so that way we can level off. It doesn't look like it's going to take us much to get that 340 radio from the Madison VOR. But that's only for reference. We'll have some VFR scenery, sort of. I've looked around at some other videos. I think I managed to find one video of Flight Simulator 2 on a Tandy, and their graphics looked kind of messed up also. Now, a real Tandy machine, I doubt would do this. It's just the emulation of the graphics. It's not up to par. Same thing happens if you try to play Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 1, let me be specific. If you try to play that on an emulator, it actually looks worse. You got lines and the lake and everything else going up into the sky, and it looks horrible. But I had discovered that the emulator PCE will allow you to play Flight Simulator 1 exactly. It'll look exactly how it's supposed to look. And I believe the previous stream is archived on my channel here on Twitch, but you can also go to my YouTube channel. I had done some editing with it, and it premiered today. I had 2 previous videos on Flight Simulator 1 with the whacked out graphics, and I was really excited when I managed to find a way to get it to work properly. And it was completely by accident, because what I was trying to do at the time was trying to find a solution for Flight Simulator 2 and getting the teledisc images to work and stuff. And and nothing was booting up, so I figured, well, let me try Flight Simulator 1 and just see if that boots. And then when it booted and everything looked correct, I'm like, no way. All right. We're somewhat level. Not going as fast as I would like, though. We're only got about 80 knots there. So probably what we need to do is increase power, and then we can lower our nose a little bit. That should give us a little bit more speed. And we'll take a look at a real map, and we'll see where those those roads are connecting to. There is not an airport on the scenery disk, but I'm sure in real life there's something there, and we'll take a look at that. That's a little better. We're up to 100 knots now. Going a little bit faster than that, it looks like. Alright, good deal. Go ahead and we'll pull up a browser here, and I'll pull up Google Maps, and we'll take a look at the area that we're going to be flying to here. No laughing. Maps. Okay. We're still going up. Let's bring it down just a little bit more. Alright, we'll go ahead and pull up a real map here. Google Maps. Good old Google Maps. So here's Madison. We were able to see Lake Mendota, flying up into the sky, which is kind of realistic. I was correct. It is the Interstate 90 that we are sort of flying up to. Right here in the center is where the other interstate is linking up with. That's the 39. And I guess the main city that's here is Portage. So here is the Lake Wisconsin. Sorry, Wisconsin River. Lake Wisconsin is this right here. And we're going to be following the river up here to Castle Rock Lake and also Petenwell Lake. So those two. And then we'll be heading at about 100, and we'll be flying in between Fond du Lac and Oshkosh, making a left turn, turning north and landing on runway 36 right here at Oshkosh, right next to Lake Winnebago. So it's not Lake Oshkosh, it's Lake Winnebago. And the airport, right here. So here's the airport. When the lines aren't going all over the place, hopefully you'll be able to see that there is a runway here. There's two tiny ones here, and then there's one like a lake runway 9 and runway 27. So there you go. That is from a real map. And you can see here, kind of, sort of, we're coming up to Wisconsin River. We look this way, that is Lake Wisconsin right there. And I know this is going all over the place, but this Interstate 90 continues this way, and so does Wisconsin River, and that's going to take us in the direction that we want to go. And we can also pull up the overhead map, and you can see where we're at. Well, that it goes wacky about that far out, but yeah, you can see whereabouts we're at. There's Lake Michigan. There we go. So see, just like a real map, you can see the roads, the lake, the river. Looks a little better from up here when looking at it from map view. It's just when you're looking at it this way, it seems it's a little crazy looking. But if you want to actually see the scenery as it was meant to, you can always watch the Commodore 64 video that I have on this same exact flight, as well as the Commodore Amiga and Microsoft Flight Simulator 3. They all use the SubLogic scenery disk in this area. And they work correctly. The images work correctly on those. Now, if I was able to get these scenery discs on a real PC machine and be able to export the graphics from the PC machine, I may be able to get this to work correctly. Those old classic PCs are not cheap to come by. The floppy disks themselves, who knows what kind of condition they're going to be in. And getting the SubLogic scenery discs is hard. I see them for sale on auction sites, but I haven't seen all of them. Increase power a little bit there. Get ourselves leveled off. Alright, we can do a little bit of our IFR following here. We pretty much just want to follow the river. The river is going to take us to those two lakes. I've been trying to drink more water, so I've been getting these naturally flavored water, and it actually has no sugar in them. More water, less soda. So the scenery's not too bad. Most of the time it's sitting out there like it should. It's here and there that it starts jumping up into the sky, but overall it's not too bad. Honestly, I don't know if it really would do this on a real Tandy machine or not. For all I know, it could. The only way to know for sure is to I'm just looking at messages on my phone. Is to actually get a Tandy machine and run Flight Simulator 2 on it and see if it has a problem. And I thought it might be the scenery disc because the scenery disc is the PC version. But it works. The scenery disc works with Tandy. Why am I pulling that out? But just the default scenery was doing the same exact thing. It was having the scenery jump up into the sky and stuff. My glass eyes here. All it takes is one little touch of my finger and I've got fingerprints on it, and then it gets annoying. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and continue with the book that we were reading from the last episode. Why do cowboys wear high heels? I don't know. Why do they? Okay, so this is just a fun book of fun facts and sayings and stuff and what their real meaning is. So, do crocodiles shed tears? Big, insincere tears in a person are called crocodile tears. But crocodile tears in a crocodile aren't tears at all. Crocodiles have no tear ducts. And what does a crocodile have to get all emotional about anyway? What look like tears are actually glandular secretions. Unlike alligators, which prefer fresh water, crocodiles usually live in saltwater marshes, which can be hard on the eyes. The crocodile produces the secretions to wash the salt from its eyes. Incidentally, the primary difference between alligators and crocodiles, apart from the secretions, which alligators don't have, is the shape of the two reptiles' snouts, which are broader and rounder in alligators. Okay, why do earthworms come out when it rains? It's not because they like grossing people out or getting stepped on. They do it to survive. Earthworms breathe through their skin, and when it rains, the soil becomes muddy. If worms didn't get out on the sidewalks and into the open air when it rains, they drown. When the soil dries, they burrow back and continue feeding on roots and decaying vegetable matter. Worms often tunnel down 8 to 10 feet in an average acre. 10 to 20 tons of soil is turned over each year by earthworms. Earthworms also leave the earth in the morning when the sun hasn't yet evaporated the moisture that collects in the soil. And that, of course, is when the early bird catches them. Smart worms usually leave their tail end in the ground, where fine, stiff hairs help them dig in when a bird tries to nab them. And so here are some other ones that we might get to on this flight. We'll take a break here for the moment. Where the heck is the skin of your teeth? Who put the chicken in chicken pox? Why does skin wrinkle when you take a bath? So, there's some more upcoming fun facts that we'll be going over. Okay, just ahead, you can see the lake that we were talking about. Pull that back up there. Castle Rock Lake and Petenwell Lake. So here is Castle Rock Lake right here, and this over here is Petenwell Lake. And as a little reminder, just bringing up the map again, this right here is the area we're flying. So we're following the Wisconsin River up to Castle Rock Lake, and actually I think this part's Castle Rock, and then this over here is Petenwell. We are rolling right along. Let's see, we're going higher in altitude than what I want to go. I don't really want to go that high. So we'll bring our power down a little bit. Now I do have a way to be able to play this in full color. We would have to, when starting Flight Simulator 2, there is the options of the keyboards, because you can play this on a Tandy 1000, a Tandy 1200, and a Tandy 2000. And you can choose between those keyboards. The Tandy 1000, the F1, F2, F3, F4 keys will change the color cycle. And one of them will give you the actual color that we can see on the PC version when you use a composite monitor. Unfortunately, when trying to emulate that on here, the throttle keys, which are supposed to be F9, F10, F11, and F12, don't work. Yeah, it's kind of a difficult thing to fly when you don't have throttle. Now I can get it to work with an emulated joystick on port number 2 using this right here, but the thumbsticks are self-centering. Most are these days. So when I move it for the throttle, it just snaps right back. So in order to do the flight, I would have to hold that stick for the throttle the whole way through. And on a longer flight like this, not one of the most easiest things to do. Now on shorter flights, we can do that. And the flight after this one is going to be shorter. So it would be nice to kind of, and I'm sure you'd like to see it, to be able to see the color version of the Tandy Flight Simulator 2. I wouldn't really call this color. I mean, it has color, but not really monochrome. I don't know, what color scheme would you call this? The Radio Shack color scheme? I don't know. Now look at the scenery. The scenery is actually not getting too crazy here. This is actually how it should look. With the exception of that road that just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Yeah, so here it is. This is Castle Rock Lake right here. And then you can see the Petenwell Lake right over here. So good stuff. Okay. We'll continue flying up there. Meanwhile, I'm going to pull up some more nav information here so we can get our ILS stuff. ILS is runway 36, and we can go ahead and set that now. Let's see, in 1. I said that was 110.5. Okay. And we'll go ahead and use V. That's number 2. We don't want that. Yeah, there we go. That should be correct. Alright, I think we are good there. It does have ATIS as well. 125.8. Let's see if we can pick up a signal from out here. Probably not. Nope, not yet. Oshkosh is 111.8. Yeah, we'll tune that in for a second. Okay, so here's Castle Rock Lake. There's this little part that comes out here. Whoops. Pull that up on a map here so that way you can see that. There we go. So you can see Castle Rock Lake right here, and here's that little part that just kind of comes out here. There's also a small little river that connects the two lakes. And so you can see, here's the lake, here's the part that comes off to the side. Here is that river. It's kind of like right in here. And you can see the other part of the lake, the Petenwell Lake right there. So a little bit of sightseeing. But now that we've come up to this area, we can go ahead and make our turn and head to Oshkosh. So now that we're turning, the lake's doing all kinds of weird stuff. The rivers and things, but that's okay. And we were going to fly at 100, is what we were saying. Or close to it. Okay, we're at 109 right now. We'll press the D key so that way we can Synchronize our gyro compass with our magnetic compass. You only have to do that when you have reality mode checked. And basically, we just kind of fly this direction until we get to Oshkosh. I can go ahead and we can pull up DME here. Let's tune nav 1 to 1.8. So we're 56 miles away. We'll go ahead and we'll keep that on. As a matter of fact, let's change nav 2 to the ILS, just so that way when we get close enough and it activates, we'll know when to change that to nav 2. .5. Okay. All right. So we are on our way. Now we'll be seeing some small lakes along the way here. I'll zoom into the map so that way you can see that as we fly. So we should see some lakes. These lakes here. And now we just kind of chill. Just kind of chill and relax here. I've got the flight before this one premiering tomorrow. For those of you who are watching this episode on YouTube, well, that's already been out for a bit. So some background information for those of you who happen to be joining me on this particular flight. Something I've been doing is, while I'm recording the episodes, I'm also streaming on Twitch, giving everyone a chance to join me on the flight while it's live and chatting and having the chance to interact with me. So it's no different than what I've done before. I'm still the only difference is that there's going to be people chatting with me, and some days will be more than others, but it's going to be the flight is going to be done the same exact way as I always have. That's a little different to me, a different mindset than if you say, well, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch and then I'll take the highlights from it and make a video. So no, that's not what we're actually doing here. This would be the same as me recording it offline and making an episode. The only difference is that it's online. So remember the lakes I told you about? They are showing up there in front of us. and only in front. I don't want to get too far off course. We shouldn't be going past the lake. I know that. Alright, so it looks like we have our signal back here, at least for the Vor's signal. That's good. Don't have anything yet for the ILS. Probably not going to get that until we're much closer. We got 48 miles to go. So we have a couple of long flights here, but then we got some short flights after this one. We'll have another touch and go coming up. That one, I'll definitely have to play in this color scheme. There's no way I'm going to be able to hold the stick for that. So let's get back to some more fun facts around the world. Who put the chicken in chicken pox? It wasn't a doctor or scientist, that's for sure. And no, people never really believed that chicken pox came from chickens, or that the scabs looked like chicken scratchings. In Old English, the disease was known as geekin pox, the itching pox. Over the years, as the word geekin became obsolete and people forgot what it had meant, chicken took the place. While we're on the subject of contagious diseases, measles comes from the German word Maser, or maybe it's Maze, for speckle. Why does skin wrinkle when you take a bath? Well, if you take a really long bath, you'll get wrinkled from old age. But even if you don't sit there quite that long, your skin will wrinkle for another reason entirely. It's expanding. As you soak your epidermis, the outer layer of skin, that's wicked. There's like a mountain growing in front of us. Your epidermis absorbs water through the pores, causing it to bulge. Though the skin is expanding all over your body, you only notice it on your hands and feet because the skin there is relatively hard and rough. As a result, it doesn't expand as uniformly as the other, more pliable sections of your body. Naturally, the hotter the bath, the more your pores will open, and the greater your skin will drink up water. In any case, once you leave the tub, it takes less than an hour for the water to evaporate or be absorbed into the underlying layers of skin. So some other facts on here. Why do we tip the waiter? Why do men tip their hats to ladies? How did 21 become the legal age for drinking? And what decided that north should be at the top of the map? That's some interesting facts. We are like more than halfway through this book. My wife had got me this book long ago. I forget if it was a birthday gift or a Christmas gift or something. Probably birthday. And I hadn't started reading it until I started doing these flights on Flight Simulator, because some of them can be quite long. You know, and a little tedious to look at. So it makes the flight a little bit more fun. I've got a lot of classic flight simulators to record, so going to be quite a bit of streaming. Now, one thing that I've been debating about is continuing the Chicago tour with the Atari version of Flight Simulator 2. I only did one flight, and that's the starting flight from Meigs to Chicago O'Hare, like we did on all the other ones. The scenery, though, looks just like the one for the Amiga. About the only difference is the sound of the engine. It sounds like an Atari. Sounds like the old Atari. I always think of the Atari 5200. Other than that, it looks the same. So we were going to do kind of like an every airport tour on that one, since trying to get scenery. I don't think it had a whole lot of scenery discs made for it, and I really couldn't find them. But I don't know how much interest there is in the Atari version. I'm sure there's some people out there that flew it. But I don't know how much of a demand there is for that. So y'all got to let me know. Do you want to see some more of the Atari Flight Simulator 2? Or are you good? Do you just want to stick with the PC versions and, in this case, the Tandy version? This one would be the PC Tandy version. "36 miles to go." Make a little bit of a turn here. We're gonna turn and fly just about due east. Now this up here may very well be Lake Winnebago. One way we can find out is looking at the map here. Seeing there. I think that is the lake. Something else we can talk about here is the relation of the KILR TV, KILR Television YouTube channel, along with the KILR Gamer Twitch channel. For a while, I had been trying to decide what I can do for a schedule, and then I came up with the idea of doing the same thing on Twitch that I'm doing over on YouTube. So every day has a different theme, and they match. The only exception is Tuesday. I'll get into that there. So Monday is Minecraft Monday. I'd have to say I've got viewers coming in from 4 different directions. So I got Minecraft people coming to the channel. I have Flight Simulator people coming to the channel. I think that's where most of my views are at, is the Flight Simulator. And then I've got Sims Sims fans that come to the channel. Not many, but they do come. And then I have a kind of like a talk show vlog. It's called Shep Rambles. I haven't done anything for this year. I just haven't really been feeling it. But I did do it the past couple of years. And there's a few people that come over and watch some of that stuff. So Monday is Minecraft Monday. Tuesday is Tuesday Theatrics. So I do some cinematic videos and I try to get them out on Tuesday. I'm working on an X-Plane video. Hope to get it out. But here on Twitch, trying to do a cinematic video just doesn't make sense because I got to do editing and different types of stuff. So Tuesday I just take off from Twitch. I need a day off. Wednesday is whatever Wednesday, so whatever I want to do on Wednesday. It could be Flight Simulator, it could be Sims, it could be any type of simulation game, anything. Anything can go on Wednesday. Thursday is Throwback Thursday, so anything that happens to be an old game. So, once again, it could be an old version of Flight Simulator. I've also done the first Sims, and Sims Online for that matter, on a Thursday. But I'm looking to kind of dig in a little further back than that, and I hope to get them up on Thursday. Then we got Flight Simulator Friday, which happens to be the day that I'm recording this, and the day that this particular video. I think I will have it premiere on a Friday or a Saturday. I'm not sure. No, I might do it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, anything Flight Simulator related will be on Friday. Saturday is Sim Saturday. So simulation type of games. It can be Flight Simulator. I've also done Truck Simulator, Euro and American, Car Mechanic, Cooking Simulator. I do have Farming Simulator. I did one episode of that. I would like to get some more out on that. Also, The Sims applies to that. But there are other types of simulation games out there also. Civilization, Age of Empires, maybe. But then you got your other sim game. You got Sim Ant, Sim Earth, Sim City, City Skylines. So all of that is eligible for Sim Saturday. And then Sunday is Sci-Fi Fantasy Sunday. So we'll be doing No Man's Sky, and there is a game on Steam called Empyrean. It's an alpha. It's been an alpha for a few years, but it's really good. Also, Star Trek Online is another one I'm going to get up. And also, this could also apply to older games that happen to be sci-fi in nature, like, let's say, Wing Commander, for example. Just got a message. What does the message say? My daughter wants to be picked up. Not right now. So don't mind me while I am replying to my daughter here. So in about 45 minutes, I'll need to my goodness. Maybe about 30 minutes. But we should be at Oshkosh by then. And we've got what, 22 miles left? And I think we can start to see Lake Winnebago over there. Let's make some heading adjustments here. Ooh, well, I can't quite tell where we're going here. This might be about right, this heading right here. Something I could do here is change this so we're at a heading of 244 from the airport. Let's go ahead and pull that up on the map here. Okay, so here is Wittman Field here in the center. 244, that's our heading. We're somewhere around, probably around right here. That's about right. That's about where I want to go. So if we had at a 90 degree heading, we should be right about there, and that's kind of like whereabouts I want to be. Yeah, so we definitely want to change our heading because the heading we were going would have taken us directly to Oshkosh, which is sitting at the airport. We want to give us a little bit of room so that way we can line up the runway and everything. And speaking of which, our ILS has become active. You can see that on nav 2. So let's go ahead and change nav 1 accordingly. There we go. Set that to 000. We are all set. Got the ILS tuned in. We seem to be at a good altitude. The glide slope is above us, so I think we're doing fine. And that black right there in the distance, I believe, is the actual airport. Miles to go. At about 10 miles, I start dropping flaps and landing gear to get us slowed down. I think I learned that from the Commodore 64. In that version of Flight Simulator, during those flights, we're reading through the manuals on those too, so because why not? Yeah, that looks trippy. Glide slope indicator is moving. Let's go ahead and drop our landing gear. And we will drop one thing of flaps. So F1, F3, F5, those are all the flaps. So we'll do F3, give us about a notch of flaps there. Okay, now there is an airport right over here. That's Fond du Lac Airport. We had some trouble landing on the runway on the last episode because with the graphics kind of going all over the place, it was kind of we were lined up, but it was hard to stay lined up the closer we got. Now with the ILS, that's going to make things a little easier. Let's see if we can get a comm signal now. There we go. Oshkosh, Wittman Field, Information Hotel, 1900 Zulu weather, visibility 10, temperature 82, wind 0 at 0, altimeter 29.95, landing and departing runway 4. We're not taking it. Advise controller on initial contact, you have hotel. Yeah, we'll be staying at a hotel. Wow, we're in Oshkosh. I've been looking at the fuel gauges, wondering if they were ever going to go down. They are. They are going down. Nine and a half miles to go. Yeah, we can see the airport there. The bigger black part, oh, now it's moving appropriately. That would be the city of Oshkosh, and the airport is going to be right before that, so... Whoops, wrong one. Gonna add a little bit of power. It looks like our glide slope, we're just about centered on that, so it looks like we got a good rate of descent. Now I'll probably land this somewhere between 60 and 80 knots. The times that I land around 60 knots, it tends to stall, and then it's like game over. Game over, man. Because it'll stall, and then it'll just go nose down. And it's frustrating. Ooh, I just realized this is going to be a little hard to control with the stick as far as the throttle. At least with the keys, I have a little bit more finer control. I'm not really going to have that with the stick. Okay, you can see the runway. It's right here. That is runway 36. It's kind of sticking out right there. .4 miles. And this is the same direction we've been flying on the other simulators as well. With the exception of Flight Simulator 4 and later, they are heading into territories that is not covered by the earlier simulators. SubLogic never covered that. And, well, they only did... Okay, not true. They did the US, Western Europe, Japan, Hawaii. Nothing else, though. Which is a shame. Can you imagine being able to fly around the world with Flight Simulator 3? Or Flight Simulator 2, for that matter. I can understand Flight Simulator 1 not having it. I mean, that was just like the very first one. And I don't think they were expecting, you know, probably weren't even thinking about scenery discs at that time. They were thinking about getting a good simulator out. Okay. Needles begin to move. The vertical one. There's our outer marker. Lower the power a little bit. Almost lined up here. Throttle down just a little bit more. Come on, stop blowing me that direction. This is where I gotta rely on my instruments. Okay, landing gear's down. That's good. Yeah, we look like we're lined up. So got a good glide slope going here. May have to add some power. We don't want to chase it. We are just about there. 1.6 miles to Oshkosh. Or Wittman Field. Or with the graphics going haywire, the Twilight Zone. Take your pick. There's our middle marker. This is where it gets tough right here. Come on. Almost down. There, we got it. Welcome to the wacky world of Oshkosh. Bring our flaps all the way up. Go ahead and center our trim here. And we'll head over to the fuel box. I know just where it's at, just from the other simulators. Oh my word. Oh my goodness, down here it just looks... really... Did we even... Alright, hold on. I think we went off the runway. I can't tell. Let's go ahead and use the map here. See? You can see Lake Winnebago right there. There we go. You can see things a little better there. The fuel should be just north of where we're at. Let's go ahead and we'll navigate with the map view. This is a little bit more easier to look at. Well, you know what? In a sense, it doesn't really matter too much because on the next flight, I want to see if we can get some color. So I'm going to have to... Oh my goodness, that just looks bizarre. So I'll have to turn off the emulator and everything and then restart. Well, let's go ahead and turn it off. We can do M1. That will just shut it off right there. And we are here at Oshkosh. We can see Lake Winnebago right over there in the distance. So, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Remember, if you can follow me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/KILRGamer. And come on over here. I'd love to chat with you. I think we can have some fun on these flights. And it's not just the old ones that I fly. I do fly the later ones as well. So I got videos on all of those. And I'm still working on getting some other flight sims up on my channel that are not Microsoft related. So lots of stuff planned. And we'll be getting those streamed here on Twitch. So be able to check, be able to interact with me and see that stuff. Remember, I'm on social media, Instagram, Twitter. Try to get some behind-the-scenes stuff up, just fun stuff. And then there's a Snapchat for anybody who still uses that. Still working on something for that. I haven't quite figured it out. Maybe you guys can give me a suggestion. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to click the subscribe button there on YouTube and the notification bell so that we know when a video is uploaded. And I will see you on the next leg of our journey. Have a killer day.